Yeah, good morning, everyone. Markus Neteler, my name. I'm from Bonn and involved in the GRASS GIS development already for a long time, like 97 coordinating the stuff and 93 being a user. Started at university exploring the software, and the session today is about how to analyze environmental data with GRASS GIS. I didn't prepare slides for today because I'm just back from the FOSS4G conference in Bucharest. But I think you can see it like this as well. So what I prepared, is the font size okay for everyone, or should I enlarge it? Okay, maybe like this. So we have different sections. I would like to ask you who is already familiar with GRASS GIS in a way. Maybe you can give a sign. Okay, so we are not alone. There are quite some. Still, since not everyone is familiar with that, there's a chapter on GRASS GIS basics. There are a few concepts you have to know, not too many, but just a few, like 2 or 3. And then everything will go smooth if you are already familiar with GIS in general. Otherwise, just read what's written here. We will go through that in our session today. Then I brought an extract of the European Climate Assessment Dataset, which is a time series, a daily time series of climatic data starting on 1st of January 1950, so it's really a long one. And we will do some data aggregation, statistics, time series processing, and so forth on it. The next chapter is doing classification with machine learning, using, in this case, the RandomForest Classifier. There's an interface. It is using Python for that. The GRASS software, it is related to an external Python software, and still it is integrated like an add-on, so it feels like a GRASS command to you. And eventually we have linear and multiple regression examples. This is rather simple, but the idea is to give you an overview of what's possible, and then for your own research you can naturally do more. This also includes some interfacing with R, because you have the bidirectional possibility of exchanging data, doing processing in GRASS, send data to R, do processing there, retrieve results back, and so forth. So the idea is, of course, to use the best tools you can have and to interface them as much as possible. And finally, probably we won't have time for that, but those being interested in using Python and GRASS, there's a very easy-to-use extension called GRASS Session. Like this, you can use GRASS in a Pythonic way, which means that you can write your scripts. You can call functionality of GRASS GIS where it suits you and return back to your workflow. So it is not needed to only work in GRASS itself. Yeah, I wrote 2 lines about myself. For those not knowing me, I'm from Germany, but I was working for 15 years in research in Trento in Italy, and then moved in 2016 to Bonn in order to co-found with 2 other colleagues Mundialis. That's an open source company. And yeah, we are meanwhile luckily overwhelmed with work, which is nice. And we also work in research, so we do Horizon 2020 projects, some German research projects. We are part of the consortia there, but we of course do also B2B, which is business to business, means we are working for different companies like German Telecom. I had a presentation at Bucharest about fiber optics planning. We are developing together with other companies an open source solution for the German Telecom. And of course, it is also GRASS GIS based. There's a second set of talks from my side about Actinia cloud processing. I think I will show that in the respective Plenary, but it is using GRASS GIS as a backend. So if you come today, you will naturally be have an advantage to follow the other section. So just, I don't know how many minutes I have. Okay, just to look into the details, quickly, just going through. Some GRASS GIS basics. I'm also often point to not reinvent the wheel, pointing to different web pages here. One example just to show you the academic impact of this software, of course inspired by the R project where they did something similar. We came up with the GRASS development team page here. You can see at time 34,000 citations, luckily searched in an automated way. And yeah, if you are interested in looking at what has been published so far or what is using GRASS and so on, there's a way to find out. Yeah, the concepts of region and so on I will introduce in this session then. We have some database structure to know about. This is also relevant for this cloud processing I will show soon in the other presentation. Data workflow and so on, and a couple of commands we are looking into. The second part is the analysis of the climatic data. Again, I use an extract of this ECA&D data set, plus some other data. And why extract? Because they are pretty heavy. I think they are now about 30,000 layers in a single file being distributed. And just to be a bit faster, yeah, we will just use this subset here. I put all the commands we use here. You can also use the graphical user interface as well. So if you are scared of command line, but probably you are not, because it is not that dramatic and it's giving you a lot of advantages, then you find the details here, all the different steps, and then we go through and do some statistical analysis on top. So no, I don't want to show this in detail now. Image classification with machine learning. This is naturally not a machine learning course, but it's just using some tools here in order to reproduce the Köppen-Geiger climatic classification. Yeah, you have probably heard of it, or you're using it yourself. This is something you can derive yourself, defining some rules. The rules are pretty complex. We will not retrieve them here, but we do some simplified way. The regression, yeah, linear multiple regression you may be familiar with. Here are some examples. The interface to R we have nicely explained in the wiki. There's a wiki of GRASS GIS. And here you find installation for Windows, Linux, and so on. And different use cases, set of examples, and useful links. The real expert is sitting over there, so I will not dive into details here. And eventually connecting GRASS and Python. There are more than, I think, 70 scripts, and major part of the, or not major, but a significant part of the library is written in Python. In GRASS, we just made the migration to Python 3, which was overdue. The version 7.8 is coming with Python 3 support, and since then we hope to be compliant again with the rest of the world, because Python 2 is end of life, more or less end of the year, and that was a necessary change. And I'm talking here about 270,000 lines of Python we had to check, so that is not anything which you do in an afternoon. Yeah, GRASS session, you can just install this with pip install GRASS session, and then you can import a few libraries, and then you can go ahead and do your processing here. We show some examples. here are some more details as well, and that is this part here. Yeah, with that I would like to conclude. Hope to see you later in the session, and floor back to Etzer.
Thank you.
Thank you.